Hello, God bless everyone today. This is Laurie from Spirit Wars of Christ. Today I bring you a message, Surprise Attack Truth. On October 7th, 2023, the world changed with the surprise attack on Israel by Hamas, who is an Iranian-backed and funded terrorist organization, a proxy of Iran. Israel responds with airstrikes in an effort to thwart an escalation, but making their position clear that this is an act of war. Difficulties and risk are high due to 1, the hostages taken by Hamas, and 2, the location of Hamas, who hide like cowards in their terror tunnels or use hostages or even their own civilians as human shields. The outcome, Israel at war to defend their very right to exist. Upon this attack, many were killed, butchered, women raped, children watched their parents killed, parents watched their children killed. Babies were beheaded and butchered. And life will never be the same. We even saw images where people were set on fire. These proxies of Iran are pure unadulterated evil straight from the pit of hell. They are demonic terrorists, bent on the elimination of every Jew that exists in the world, and destruction and annihilation of Israel. Pure satanic hate from their black hearts, who have no respect for life. If you support Hamas and hate Israel, protesting with your hate-filled words, I say this: listen to the God of Israel, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and heed his words. Genesis 12:3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. At the time when I drew this up for all of you, it was day 146. That number of days has exceeded mine now. And over 100 hostages are still in captivity, in horrendous conditions. Imagine you yourself are one of those you love being held against their will, and under the whims of Hamas or any other Iranian proxy. This is what every family of a hostage has to deal with, and not to mention those who have died horrifically, their bodies still held in captivity, denied proper burial, or loved ones the ability to mourn, but keeping them in limbo. The world didn't hesitate to support Israel and the Jews, but it was short-lived because it wasn't long before the world turned from Israel and condemned them for going into Gaza to eliminate the terror threat, whose only reason for existing is to completely wipe out all Jews on the earth, starting with Israel. Now, I read you something now. This is in Hamas' own words. On October 7th, Hamas attacked Israel, slaughtering around 1,200 men, women, and children, and infants in the largest and most brutal massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. Hamas terrorists intentionally recorded their murder, rape, and torture of civilians, including around 200 foreign nationals. and took at least 240 hostages back with them into Gaza. The physical attack was followed by a propaganda and disinformation campaign, knowing that Israel would have no choice but to respond to the October 7th massacre. Hamas retreated into its network of tunnels beneath the homes, schools, and hospitals of Gaza, using Palestinian civilians as human shields in order to weaponize the resulting civilian casualties. This left Israel with two options: either do nothing in response to the murder and kidnapping of its citizens by invading Hamas terrorists, thereby inviting more attacks, or act against Hamas and as it hid behind and under its own citizens. As Hamas leaders themselves admit, Hamas sees either path as a strategic win for its campaign of terror and incitement against Israel, with the ultimate goal of Israel's eradication. While there can be legitimate criticism of specific Israeli policies and action during its war with Hamas, it is paramount to remember this worldview of Hamas. Since its founding in the late 1980s, Hamas has been promoting rhetoric and policies aimed at destroying the Jewish state of Israel and killing Jews and Israelis around the world. This is evident in their founding charter, which cites the infamous protocols of the elders of Zion forgery as proof of a Zionist plot to control the world. It remains true after Hamas released a new charter in 2017, which essentially simply swapped the word Jew out and replaced it with Zionist, while repeating anti-Semitic tropes. The following are examples of hateful rhetoric by Hamas leaders and officials, as well as language from their charter. Hamas leaders and officials' statements by Hamas officials made clear the terrorist organization commitment to destroying Israel and killing Jews and Israelis around the world. I'm going to read some names that are going to be impossible for me to pronounce, so please bear with me. Ismail Haniyeh, in 2020, he explained that Hamas rejects ceasefire agreements by which Gaza would become Singapore, preferring to remain at war with Israel until a Palestinian state is established from the river to the sea. We cannot, in exchange for money or projects, give up Palestine and our weapons. We will not give up the resistance. We will not recognize Israel. Palestine must stretch from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. Hamas officials, Hernad al-Rijib, in an April 2023 sermon, he prayed for the annihilation and paralysis of the Jews, whom he described as filthy animals. Allah transformed them into filthy filthy, ugly animals like apes and pigs because of the injustice and evil they had brought about. Al-Rajib also prayed for the ability to get to the necks of the Jews. Hamas Political Bureau Chairman Saleh al-Aruri, in an August 2023 interview, he expressed Hamas' desire for total war with Israel. Therefore, we are convinced that if a total conflict begins, the airspace and seaports of this entity will be shut down, and they will not be able to live without electricity, water, and communications. Ahmed Abd al-Hadi, Hamas representative in Lebanon, in an October 12, 2023 TV show, laid out Hamas' expectation that it would be Israel that would sue for peace, and indicated that a ceasefire is part of Hamas' overall strategy, but said that he was not at liberty to say what exactly Hamas has planned for the next step after a ceasefire. He also stated that October 7th had achieved its intended purpose of landing a blow to the normalization of relations between Israel and the Arab countries. Hamas member Ghazi Harned, on October 24th, 2023, Israel is a country that has no place on our land because it constitutes a security, military, and political catastrophe. To the Arab and Islamic nation. October 24, 2023, LBC TV, Lebanon. He also vowed to repeat the October 7th attacks time and time again until Israel is annihilated, and expressing a desire to sacrifice martyrs, referring to Gazan civilians, for Hamas' ideological aim of destroying Israel. In a speech before the International Union of Muslim Scholars in Doha on January 9th, 2024, Ismail Haniyeh, chairman of Hamas Political Bureau, called the October 7th massacre the advanced battle front of the Ummah, calling for financial jihad donations to Hamas and jihad of the 10th physical jihad. He asked the international audience who wishes to invest in building the jihadist generation to liberate Jerusalem and to unite the blood of the Ummah with the blood of the people of Gaza, Jerusalem, and Palestine on the land of the Palestine for its liberation and the liberation of Jerusalem. Statements by Hamas officials also make it clear the terrorist organization disregard for the loss of civilian life, not only in Israel but in Gaza. So, to skip forward a little bit, the Hamas charter reads this: Hamas extremism is rooted in ideologies that predate the establishment of Israel, 1948. I highly doubt it. The preamble to Hamas founding charter contains the following quote from the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood, Hassan al-Banna: Israel will exist and will continue to exist until Islam will obliterate it, just as it obliterated others before it. The Hamas Charter specifically dates Hamas ideological roots to well before the establishment of Israel and sees itself part of a chain of struggle against not only the state of Israel, but also Jews, who they term Zionists, who lived there before it became Israel in 1948. The Islamic resistance movement is one of the links in the chain of struggle against Zionist invaders. It goes back to 1939, to the emergence of the martyrs, to the martyr Izz ad-Din al-Qassam and his brethren, the fighters and members of Muslim Brotherhood. It goes on to reach out and become one with the chain that includes the struggle of the Palestinians and Muslim Brotherhood in the 1948 war, and the jihad operations of the Muslim Brotherhood in 1968 and after Hamas Charter, which is Article 7. Hamas sees the territory of Israel exclusive to all the world's Muslims, not just Palestinians, forbids a Jewish state on any part of the land, and promotes the idea that it is the duty for every Muslim to reverse Israel's existence. The land of Palestine is an Islamic it says holy possession, but I don't see it as holy. Consecrated for future Muslim generations until Judgment Day. No one renounces it or any part of, or abandon it or any part of it. So here it says, the hour of judgment shall not come until the Muslims fight the Jews and kill them, so that the Jews hide behind trees and stones. Each tree and stone will say, O Muslim, O servant of Allah, there is a Jew behind me. Come and kill him, except for the Garquad tree, for it is the tree of the Jews. So there's no question that that these people coming up against Israel are just simply satanically evil and are being guided by Satan. They are not only a proxy of Iran, which is evil in itself, but they are straight from, I dare say, straight from Satan himself. And you know, all that was said there, I'm sorry, it is actually going to be them that fall and not Israel. Because God is not going to allow his chosen ones to be taken over by an evil proxy of the satanic head of the snake that really needs to be cut off. I feel sorry for anyone who is confused about whether or not they should support Israel, because they're being satanically led. And but this is my message for today, and it is my view is that that Israel does belong to the Jews, is always belonged to the Jews. God gave the land of Israel to the Jews, and the Jews are God's chosen people, and their God, Allah, is nothing to the God of Israel. And God will have the last word. He still sits on the throne. Everything is working according to his plan, and their time is coming when they will be cast into the fiery pit and be burned up and be no more. Thank you for watching. God bless all of you. Please take care of yourselves and each other. I will see you again soon.